I remember the smell of vanilla frosting before I remember the betrayal. It was my birthday, and the kitchen was warm and familiar and safe. Or, at least it felt safe. I had spent the morning moving through the house quietly, like I always did. Making sure everything looked right. Making sure I looked right. 35 years old. Married for 11 years. Still believing that effort was the same thing as love. The cake sat on the counter waiting. Candles unlit. Hope unspoken. I told myself it would be different this year. I told myself he would look at me the way he used to. Like I was chosen. Like I mattered. His name was Daniel. He was not cruel. Not loudly. Not obviously. He was the kind of man people trusted. The kind of man who shook hands firmly and smiled at neighbors. The kind of man who forgot anniversaries but remembered meetings. Who said he was tired when I asked for attention. Who said everything was fine when nothing was. By noon the house was filled with the sound of preparations. Plates clinking. Music playing softly. Friends arriving with polite smiles. My sister hugged me and whispered happy birthday. I smiled back and wondered why my chest felt tight. Daniel arrived late. As usual. He walked in with his phone in his hand. Apologized without looking at me. Said traffic was bad. Kissed my cheek like a habit. Not like desire. And then he said, I brought someone with me. I froze. I laughed a little thinking it was a joke. But then she stepped inside. She was younger. Not dramatically. Just enough to hurt. Her hair was smooth. Her smile unsure. Her eyes avoided mine. And suddenly the room felt smaller. Daniel said, "This is Claire." He said it casually. Like he was introducing a coworker. Like he was proud. Claire said, "Happy birthday." Her voice shook. Mine did not work. Someone laughed awkwardly. Someone asked if she was a friend. Daniel did not answer. He looked at me instead. And in that moment I knew. Not because he said anything, but because he did not. The silence told me everything. Years of distance. Late nights. Cold conversations. All of it rearranged itself into a single clear truth. This woman was not a surprise guest. She was the reason. I felt something crack inside me. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just a quiet breaking. Like ice under pressure. Daniel finally spoke. He said, "We need to talk." He said, "I wanted you to meet her." He said, "Honesty matters." He said this like it was a gift. The room blurred. Voices faded. I could hear my heart in my ears. I could hear my mother in my head telling me, "Never let anyone disrespect you." I had ignored that voice for years. I asked him how long. He hesitated. That was answer enough. Claire looked like she wanted to disappear. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Daniel said he had feelings. That things had changed. That he did not want to lie anymore. I looked at the cake. Untouched. Candles still waiting. I wondered how many birthdays I had spent waiting. I told everyone to leave. My voice surprised me. It was calm. Firm. No shaking. People gathered their things quickly. Avoided eye contact. Murmured apologies that were not meant for me. Claire hesitated at the door. She said, "I am sorry." I nodded. Not because I forgave her, but because I needed her gone. When the door closed, the house felt empty in a new way. Daniel sat down like he was tired. Like this was hard for him. He said he never meant to hurt me. He said people grow apart. He said maybe we both ignored the signs. I listened, and for the first time I realized I had been listening my entire marriage, while he had been slowly leaving. I asked him if he loved her. He said, "I do not know." That was enough. That night, I did not cry. I cleaned the kitchen, put the cake in the fridge, blew out the candles alone.
At midnight, I made a wish, not to save my marriage, but to save myself. The days after were strange, quiet. Daniel slept on the couch. Claire texted him. He did not hide it anymore. I walked through my routines like a ghost. Work groceries, polite conversations. Everyone knew something was wrong, but no one asked. My sister came over one evening. She sat with me on the floor. We ate cold pizza. She did not say I told you so. She just said you deserve better. That sentence followed me everywhere. In the shower, in traffic. At night when I stared at the ceiling. Deserve better. I realized I had stopped believing that years ago. Daniel suggested counseling, not to fix us, but to make things easier, cleaner, like he wanted a smooth exit. I agreed. Not for him, but for closure. In that office, I finally spoke about the loneliness, the way he stopped seeing me, the way I became invisible. He listened, really listened, for the first time, and I felt nothing. No relief, no hope, just clarity. Somewhere between those sessions, the apartment was quiet in a way I had never known. Not empty, just honest. No footsteps. I waited for no door sounds that raised questions, just me and the sound of my own breathing. At first, the silence scared me. I filled it with noise. Music playing all day. The television left on at night. Anything to avoid hearing my thoughts. Because my thoughts were loud. They asked questions I had avoided for years. Why did I stay so long? Why did I shrink myself? Why did I confuse loyalty with self-destruction? Every morning I woke up and reached for a phone that was no longer mine to monitor. No messages to read between the lines. No location to check, no lies to decode. And slowly something strange happened. My shoulders relaxed, my jaw unclenched. I slept through the night. I went back to work like nothing had changed, but everything had. My coworkers noticed. They said you look different. Lighter. I smiled because they were right. One afternoon, my boss asked me to lead a presentation, something I had always avoided.